This is two very, very, if you do that and I do that, it looks really kind of, we can make our own. One of those things that go round and round. Yeah, you have got two very, very dedicated senior members of society turning up here who are very, very hot. And
women of a certain age and beyond who are very hot.
we're very hot women. So watch out. It's a good job you're not here.
Oh, I didn't think we were going to start the conversation that way.
No, I never know how we're going to start the conversation. It's just leap in. It's like leap through that awkward moment. It's like so many people find it absolutely terrifying to do something like this, and you know what? We've managed to break through that fear barrier, and we're reaching out to everybody here, and hoping that some people will turn up and listen and share, and because yeah, we feel like there's a really important need for what we're offering here. So
yes, indeed, and we've got a growing community, haven't we?
yes, you said there are lots of people on the Facebook page.
Yes, people are beginning to come in, and people are inviting other people that they know that might want the same sort of space and support. I think it's probably a bit different to what I've seen elsewhere, in that, you know, we've created a space that isn't really somewhere where we're encouraging chatting within the page, or we've also got a space on Telegram. Really, that, you know, the space that we've created is to use it as a resource to inform people about the real events, which are like I call it a virtual stand in the park. You know, so how, you know, a lot of people, I don't know if you've got one in your area. I think you have, Julia, in Glastonbury.
Yes, we have in Street, but I have to say I haven't been to any of them.
No.
Yeah, I'm a lone ranger. I sit on this laptop promoting and talking to people about what's going on, and then I have the community gardens, and it's essentially my front door is pretty much open most of the time, and I have a stream of people coming in who are in need of support or help in one way or the other. So yeah, I guess I don't go out to the stand in the park very often. I was wondering if I was going to go to the big thing in London yesterday, but I didn't manage that either.
No, I don't know how big it was. I was in Buxton yesterday, and I did see some streams of it. There seemed to be a lot of people there.
Yeah, so before we go any further, let me just check if this is. I just upgraded this package on last night to try and make sure that we were going live. No, it's not live. That we were going live on Facebook last night to try and make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're live on YouTube, but why is it still not live on Facebook? That is very strange.
It's all a mystery, isn't it?
It's a mystery. So I actually subscribed to Restream last night to make sure that this went live to Facebook, and it doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be doing it, even though it says it should be doing it. So that's very odd.
Yes.
Okay, so is there anybody there on Facebook? Because if there is, can you please message us in this moment? And if there's somebody that wants to come in and manage our media, manage our calls, that would be wonderful. It would take a lot of pressure off us. So
I'm not familiar with Restream, so
no,
I know a lot of people use it, don't they?
Well, it should automatically go to Facebook anyway without buying the package.
Anyway, I'm sure
I'm posting the YouTube link.
Yeah, we'll post the YouTube link afterwards. So we wanted to really just to tell everybody where we're up to, don't we? We started this group probably, I don't know, is it only 3 weeks ago now? Something like that. Maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
With the idea that it's for people that are looking for a bit of support if they are feeling maybe a bit different in their social group or in their family. and you have different views to other people. You know, there's clearly a lot of division going on, and with the news that's come out today, you know, even more division going on with, you know, certain people will be able to go here, but you can't go there. And
I didn't hear that news, I'm afraid.
yeah, I think it was discussed in Parliament that only people that, you know, had were willing to go and get the double jabs were going to be allowed to go to events. And, you know, we're very suspicious that this is going to impact everybody's lives, and every aspect of life. And that's the big worry. And I know that there'll be some people out there that are very concerned about that. So it's even more important that we make sure that we're supporting everybody at this time who might be feeling a bit vulnerable. And, you know, it's all with an idea really to push those people that are perhaps wavering a little bit into being frightened into doing something that doesn't sit with them.
Yeah, it's about really making people very frightened. And I've heard there are people now that have had this thing, and they really, really regret it as well.
Yeah.
This
And this is a space for them too. You know, we're not discounting anybody that, you know, has made that decision. But you know, but you know, as you say, you know, we are open to those people coming in and being part of the community as well, because, you know, the last thing we want to do is create any more division, because there's enough of that going on at the moment anyway.
Yes, it's like there's a huge amount of fear all the way around the planet, and that in itself makes you ill. And there's a huge amount of division, and then there's a lot of anger as well. And it's like, if we want things to be different, then we have to start creating a different world, and that's your internal world, my internal world. What do I need to do differently? Even though I might be upset, or I might be angry, or I might feel like I'm totally rejected, which I did feel from my family. How can we build back the bridges? Because if we don't build those bridges, we have no hope of going forward, and this is going to descend into the worst kind of hell, which it's feeling like that already to a lot of people. So we
yeah,
have
I'm sure it is. I mean, there are some countries that are, you know, as English, I just think we're too nice, Julia. You know, people are too nice. They follow the rules, and even when the rules are changed, they still follow the rules because they've got used to the rules. I've just been away for the weekend, and, you know, though the relaxation of the restrictions, you know, everybody's still wearing their masks and standing in queues and doing all the things that they've been so used to doing for so long.
Yeah, well, I think, let me just see if anybody's there on the chat. I think that's a real trauma symptom when you've had somebody that's abused, been very badly abused, and this is what's happened to society, is that we've been massively abused, that it's very hard afterwards, when you're finally given your freedom, to actually let go of that connection, that relationship with those activities that were happening underneath you, in the context of that abuse. And that it's known, it's very widely known that people even form relationships with their abusers.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're in now. We're in this massive power over abusive situation. And what comes out of it is down to us. It's like, how can we process the pain of it? How can we stay conscious and not feel disempowered and not angry and not dissociated? How can we still be proactive and build the bridges and the relationships back?
Yes, and we're not, you know, we're not like the French and the Greek. We aren't, or the Italians. We're not. I mean, there have been protests in London, or peaceful protests in London, as you say, yesterday, and I think going on today. I mean, the French are much more vociferous about the way they feel, and, you know, some things have been changed over there. That's not necessarily going to happen here.
Well, don't preclude it. It might do.
Yes, you don't. Well, until, you know, people are forced into really, you know, how far does this have to go, really, before,
and I think
people do get cross about it and start taking action.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you know, what we really want to do is to maintain some sort of, you know, connection for people, and for them to not be so frightened and isolated, and let them know that if they're feeling this way, that there's thousands and thousands of other people that are feeling
millions, yeah, millions of people.
millions, yeah, absolutely all around the world.
This way that you're not alone. None of us are actually alone. And somebody was telling me recently that she was very distressed and about what was happening, and then she tried to challenge it, and she had a call from a doctor who was examining her mental health because she was distressed around what was happening. And then that's a whole nother level of fear that people are going to be challenged, that they're insane or something because they feel this.
Yeah, our first Zoom call, it was very illuminating, with all sorts of people who were in similar situations, who are being accused by their friends or their own family of having mental health issues, when with everybody that I know and that I'm associated who have the beliefs that we do, we're very, very sure about what we've been studying and reading and researching. So it's a really, it's very offensive to some of the people, but it's also very heartbreaking, particularly when it's people that you love that are making those kind of accusations, let alone a doctor, which is a whole different story.
Yeah, so it would be completely normal to feel angry, to feel grief, to feel deeply upset about what's going on, and to be told that you've got a mental health problem because of that is such a. I think that person has a mental health problem. I mean, they have to be so dissociated or whatever, but there's something going on where some of us are seeing things and others aren't seeing things, and it seems like it's at the moment impossible to cross that bridge. So how can we at least be accepting of, okay, I had this conversation with my daughter the other day and I quoted some things and she was like, Mum, I don't want to talk about that I didn't see that's not real. And it's what I was quoting actually was the whole thing about Mr. B in the USA going around that speech he made where he said he was going to be knocking on everybody's doors. She's living in America and she had no knowledge, and she thought I was completely crazy to suggest such a thing.
Wow. But that's the thing, is that you don't know what you don't know, and we're being told so many half truths that there's, it's almost like black and white, and it's very hard. We don't want people to be angry with us, but equally we're not angry with people that are looking at the other side of the coin, because in the way that we're very sure about what we know and trust and believe, they're also very sure about what they know, trust and believe. So as you say, Juliet, it's about finding a way through all of this big treacle mess.
Yeah, so instead of attacking people, why not be curious? Like, that's really strange. How come you believe that? Why do you believe that? Why do you have those feelings? Rather than saying, don't talk to me about this, I don't want to talk about it. And that's what's the interesting thing, is the absolute refusal to have a conversation, that there's something so radical going on that the person you are close to is suddenly having a totally different understanding or viewpoint. And I think that's the wounding there as well, when you're in shock, you're in such shock that you don't want to talk to that person about the fact that they're seeing something so different.
Yeah, it's a real insight into trauma for me. I mean, trauma is your speciality, but it is a real insight into mind control and the way things work, and how we as humans operate in very, very different ways, and how we react in very, very different ways. And there just seems to be this army. So many people say, I don't understand why they can't see it. I don't understand why they can't see it. And it is, as you say, it's like there's one person per family who's the only one in the family. It's very, and we did have a wonderful Zoom call a couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago, where we did have couples together, but very often they were individuals who were very isolated and thinking outside the box, the only ones thinking outside the box in their families. And that is very hard to see and to witness, definitely. But also some wonderful people who had lots of sort of techniques and ways that they were overcoming their feelings and their worries, and maintaining relationships with those people that they love, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that is really important, because your family member or your friend that has made this different choice because some reason they're seeing things differently, they're not your enemy.
No.
They're not my enemy. And if we start behaving as if we're under attack because they believe something different, or that we want to attack them, that's really very detrimental to society, to our families. It's like, how can we actually get together and process that? And if we can't really have that conversation with them, can we have this conversation with ourselves? Like, what can I do to be in a better situation, to be able to hold space for my loved ones, even though they appear to be absolutely doing something that's causing themselves harm?
Yeah, so that's kind of the theme really of the Outside the Social Network. And what we've done is we've had a very first successful meeting. It was all came around very quickly, but we've got another one next Monday the 26th, is it? I think at 8:00 in the evening, and it's a private Zoom call, so it's not aired anywhere. It's not live streamed like this. For anybody that would like to come along, and don't worry if there's lots and lots of people. What we'll do is we will have breakout rooms so everybody can have their say. If they want to, they can just sit and listen if they want to. But on the last call, everybody wanted to be able to share the way they felt and a little bit about their story, and it was very
it was so touching. It was deeply touching, wasn't it? And the feedback we had from everyone was that they all found it really valuable, and that they were really deeply touched to listen to each other's story. And for some of them, it was the first time they'd heard anyone else speaking about the same things that they were going through.
Yes, and we have two nurse whistleblowers in the group who are coming at this from a very different place, and were actually very touched and shocked about some of the divisions in families that they're not experiencing that. Theirs is very much a work situation, and that then they're being outed, or ousted from their career. So their situation is unique to them. But fortunately, they do have support within their family. So they were astonished and really upset to see other people who were having real difficulties and were either isolated physically because they literally were having to live on their own and had been for 18 months, or isolated within their family or social group. So everybody learned, everybody saw that there's the whole range of experiences, but they're all intertwined and they all correlate to one another in some sense.
Yeah, so I think my sense is that every sector of society in some way or other are touched by this and having this experience. And it could be that you're listening and you are in some kind of organization and you've been trying to speak up or share your concern about what's happening, and there's no one to speak to about it, or that you're being gaslit, or what you're sharing is whitewashed or whatever, like, oh no, it's not as bad as that, or it's not that way, you're not understanding, or whatever. So that makes it very difficult. Or you're under the threat of losing your job. As a friend of mine has now been suspended from work because she made some objections to what was going on. I mean, that's really severe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Or it could be you're worried about being suspended from your family or totally excluded from your family, and it's like you may have thoughts around what's going on, but you haven't even voiced them. You haven't even begun to voice your concerns around what you're witnessing.
Yes, if you're a lone voice, it's very difficult to speak up, isn't it?
Yeah.
to actually say. But you know, this is a space for that. It's a safe space for that, so that you can come and share and maybe get some insights into what other people are doing, and just a bit of hope, because one of the basic human needs is that we need some certainty in our lives, and actually at the moment certainty is sadly lacking, because nobody knows what is coming in the future. It changes on a daily basis. You know, the rules have all been changed. So many goalposts have been changed for the last 18 months, and it really, there is no firm ground, is there, Juliet, in which we can set our stall at the moment, because nobody has any trust in anymore. I don't think, even if you are going along with the narrative, because the goalposts are shifting all the time, it's just this massive, it's like sand, you're in and out of it all the while, and so I can see why people are still wearing the mask, because that's their safety blanket in a way.
Yeah, it's massively traumatizing for people, because it creates so much insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do get all that, and the reason we get that is because we feel the same way.
Yeah, we've been through the same things and are going through the same things, and just want to make a space where we can create some solid ground. So by choosing to meet, by forming these relationships with each other in this group, that we create some kind of solidity where we can share the difficulties that we're going through, and that's something that you can rely on. That's something that we can rely on.
Yes,
there is
we will do our very best to serve in whatever way.
Yeah.
So again, then Monday night at 8 o'clock. So you need to be part of one of the groups, either the Facebook group or the Telegram group, the Outsiders Social Network. Find us there. Connect with Juliet and I individually. If you need an invitation to get into there. There are questions to answer to get into the Facebook group. So you can't just come in without answering those 3 questions. You could do that. That would make my admin life much easier, because people are signing up, not answering the questions, and I'm having to go back and say, please answer the questions, so that I can let you in. We also have a landing page where you can sign up, so that we can send you the Zoom link directly.
Yeah.
And those landing pages, that landing page is pasted in those groups as well. We're trying to keep it as private as possible, so that it can't be kind of infiltrated, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward and to you coming on the call, and I see that this is going to grow into something much bigger, much very healing.
Yes, we want it to be a healing space, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so we'll see you on Monday. Please connect with us.
Yeah, connect.
And,
go and have a cold shower or something if you
yes.
really maybe you're listening from Iceland or somewhere like that, where it's actually cold in the moment.
Yeah, cold already. Okay, lots of love to everybody.
Yeah, lots of love. Bye. Maybe you're wishing you're here in this hot. Bye.